You're listening to the Jiu Jitsu Lou podcast, and I'm Lou Temlett. I'm guessing you're having a good day because either you've been on the mats, considering getting on the mats, or maybe taking your child to train. This is the Jiu Jitsu Lou podcast with me, Lou Temlett, coming to you from the UK. Today, I am talking with Mr. Dan Bassett from Grappler Soap. Hi, Dan. How are you doing?
Yeah, hi, Lou. I'm great, mate. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. Thank you for joining me on my podcast. Before we get to talk about Grappler Soap, I asked a couple of questions on my socials this morning about how people feel when they can't train. And to be fair, they are pretty miserable and grumpy and just want to get back on the mats as soon as possible. Some of the reasons why people can't train, maybe because of childcare or various other, work or other commitments.
Because they're losers.
I love it. I love it, Dan. Right. So, and one of the other reasons people can't train is because of certain skin infections. And I want to, just find out from you about Grappler Soap, where it started, and what you train.
So I train mostly no-gi, sort of for MMA, and self-defense is a strange term, but for me personally, it's just my preference. I'm not really fond of stuff that works in a mat but doesn't work on the street very well. And because I got into jiu-jitsu through MMA, and the guys I train with, they're always fighting and stuff. So we're always kind of MMA based. So, I think it's more transferable to the street and real life scenarios and stuff. But also, you've got to be aware as well. It isn't, MMA isn't the street. There are still rules, and so you can't get too conditioned into thinking that you're just street fight ready all the time when you're conditioned to be in a dojo. So that's what I train. Fight occasionally. Try not to. I just kind of, I kind of think of myself as like a bottle of pop sometimes. And and if you think that the pop is going to explode, the top's going to come off, and the pop's going to explode because everything's getting a bit shaken up in there, and you need to just vent it a little bit. So I think there was 12 years between my last two fights, and I was like, right, I need a fight. So got that out of my system, and now I'm all good again. So that's what I train. I make Grappler Soap because firstly because I've got very sensitive skin like a great big fairy, and shower gels, I never made the association with what I was washing my skin with, right? Because I'm such a dumbass in some ways, right? For years, sensitive skin, there's a little bit of eczema in my family. I get a little bit on my knuckles here. And I never made the association with all the things that were kicking my skin off. I could only use like a fairy non-bio or something like that. If I used any other washing detergent or fabric softener, I'd be itching. Certain fabrics would drive me crazy. And I never made the association until I was kept hearing about Defense Soap, which I will name because Defense Soap, although I'm not a massive fan of soap, obviously, they paved the way for like all these other soaps and stuff. And everybody knows about Defense Soap because Joe Rogan goes on about it all the time. So that was how I learned about it. I thought I want to try some of that because you were saying it's really good for your skin. I had an idea of how it's going to look, how it's going to feel, how it's going to smell, and how it's going to feel on my skin. And disappointed would be a strong word, but I was underwhelmed. And then I started looking into it, and I was like, right, well, I reckon I could do better. I thought I couldn't really be asked, so couldn't really be bothered. Sorry. So I tried a load of other alternatives from big names, little names, independent people on Etsy, on eBay, all sorts of stuff. Bit hit and miss with my skin, really, nothing great. At this point, I was about 2 months into researching soap, and mentioned to the boys when we've been training on the mats one morning, knocking the stuffing out of each other, which is generally me getting the stuffing knocked out of me. I said, they were like, what are you up to this week then? And I was like, do you know what? I think I'm going to start making soap. And they were laughing their heads off, obviously, because, there's three of us in my mate's garage, the padded garage, beating the crap out of each other. And now I was going to start making soap. So, and I said, not only am I going to make soap, but it's going to be better than Defense Soap. And I quickly did that. A few months later, I'd made the first lot. I made 12 bars. I was like, I'll make one a month for me, and that'll be it. Then I gave some away, so I had to make some more because I didn't have enough. So I refined it a little bit, and then the second lot was really good. I preferred it to vent soap already. And then within a few months, I got something that was just basically as it is now. It was absolutely awesome. My skin was the best it had ever been. And then like a light bulb went off. I was like, I've swapped horrible shower gel, which is like fairy liquid with a different scent on it. So like this soap, which is made of argan oil, vitamin E, tea tree, peppermint, eucalyptus, oats and honey. And my skin was just like, thanks. So so I was like, right, okay. Then one of the boys was like, are you going to sell it? I was like, don't know, like, yeah, go on. So I had a spare Instagram account that I just used for jiu-jitsu, just following jiu-jitsu accounts and stuff. I thought, what am I going to call it? I'll call it Grappler. So stick a logo on it. I grew up surfing in Cornwall. So surfing and bodyboarding, and just everybody grows up on the beach in Cornwall, right. And, there were a few sort of brands that were really, really sort of prominent in my mind, surf brands. And so I was like, and both of them had like a shaka in the logo. And I was like, that's perfect for jiu-jitsu because it's such a kick sort of tongue-in-cheek thing, isn't it? Like, if someone that go around saying "os" all the time, you're like, but,
I know. I haven't quite got used to that one.
Yeah. So I thought, I'll bang a logo on it. I'll see if I can sell a couple of bars. And I was blown away because the first month I sold like, I don't know, 70 quid. And I thought, I sold 70 quid. So I was sick. And then the next month it was like doubled. And then like genuinely my wildest dreams for it were that maybe it would pay for like the finance on my car or something a month. And and then within no time it's like turning over some good money. So it's just given me another income source, and will be my my legacy and my retirement. So the next step is to put the infrastructure in for it to be a truly global brand, because we've got a little bit of presence, we've got international recognition, and and we're being repped by people internationally. I've got current UFC fighters that buy the soap and use it. I don't sponsor them because I can't afford to sponsor them. I could afford to sponsor them. I would rather put the money into sponsoring amateurs that are on the amateur scene, that are grafting, maybe earning, I don't know, 15, 20 grand a year because they're on the mats 5 times a week, and for me, that makes more of an impact. It's like the little bit of good that we do with the water in Tanzania. For every bar of soap we sell, gives 7 days of fresh water for a child in Tanzania. I haven't added it up for the last few months, but this is crazy. In the first 18 months, we had done 16 years of fresh water for a child in Tanzania in the first 18 months. So I don't even know what it's at now, because I go on it periodically and go, oh shit, when's the last time I did it? All right, okay, I now owe 4 months. What have I sold in the last 4 months? Total it out, barrel, and I total it up, and then it'll be guaranteed it's over 20 years now. So if you say one kid, for 20 years, or 20 kids for 1 year, and it's nothing. It's pence in the pound. And I think a little bit of good goes a long way, especially in that part of the world. So so that's how we got started. A short story long, mate.
That's a fantastic story, and it's really nice to hear that there's a mission and there's contribution going back into the world, and just helping others that are there to be helped and supported.
But it's only a little bit though. So like I always try and hammer that across. Like, it's just a little bit of good. But if everybody's a little bit of good, then the world will be a better place. As rubbish as that sounds. Yeah,
absolutely. So you've got all the fantastic ingredients in this soap, and is it full body soap? Is it like regular body wash replacement thing? Tell me.
Yeah, it's really funny because when I first started, it was just as like after training sort of get the lurgy off you, okay, right? And then because I've got mega sensitive skin, I was like, God, this is mega. Believe it or not, because I am old, I still get the odd spot, or I would do. I very, very rarely get a spot now. I was quite spot prone because I was using it on my face. Skin got better, it got so much better. Feet, you don't get as much dry skin on your feet, like honestly, like it's so good. And then what happens is, so it's just as a jiu-jitsu soap initially, and then people started getting hold of me saying, oh, just to let you know, my wife was like, why are you spending money on jiu-jitsu soap, you idiot? And then it would be the same story every time. It'd be like, and then a week later, she's like, God, that smells good. And then the soap gets smaller and smaller, and they realize that their wife or the girlfriend has been using the soap, so then they have to buy more soap. And then they'll get another, and I'm like, oh, brilliant, tell us to keep it up. And then I'll get a message say, by the way, I messaged you saying my wife had been nicking my soap and loves it. I'm like, yeah. Her eczema's now cleared up. And I was like, oh, that's odd, right? And I didn't give it any thought. I honestly didn't give it any thought. And then I had about 10 or 15 of these messages. And like I said, I'm a bit dumb sometimes. And I was like, oh, here we go. Because I've got such sensitive, dry skin, when I was formulating the soap, that all I really wanted to do was make something that have a base for my tea tree, my peppermint, and my eucalyptus, which have all got like antibacterial, antifungal, antimicrobial properties. They were used, like the grave robbers during the plague, back in the day.
Yeah.
They would douse themselves in essential oils and they would stay clear of the plague. So I was like, right, okay, I was just thinking of something, I may as well put it in something nice that won't irritate my skin. And it turns out that, there's massive links between eczema and staph, because eczema is like a series of tiny, tiny open wounds. Okay, right? If you think about it objectively, that's what it is. And that's where the staph gets in. So people then messaging me saying, and I've gone about this all the time because I'm so proud of it. I've had so many people message me saying, look, I've got ringworm, I've got staph, I can't get rid of it. I've got staph that's resistant to steroid potions, I've got staph that's resistant to antibiotics. This is really my last sort of hope. I'm like, right, okay, hold on. Send them some soap. This sounds unbelievable. Guy Kashan Khan, he's called Kasha Crusher Khan, fights on like Fight Star in London. He couldn't get rid of staph for 5 months. He was off the mats. He was, not loving it, because where your head goes when you can't train all the time. He's getting so frustrated. He bought some soap, and now I can't remember if it was 3 or 4. I'm going to say 4 to be on the safe side, because it still sounds unbelievable. Within 4 days, his staph and his eczema both cleared up, went away. Then he was cleared. He's back on the mats. He's back fighting. 3 months later, he won the title fighting for that organization. And that's not an isolated case. I've got customers now that have been my customers for 18 months or so, a year, 18 months, and they couldn't stay clear of staph for more than 3 weeks at a time, a month at a time. And same with ringworm as well. I use the two interchangeably, because not that they're the same thing, but it's the same story with both these things in my customers. So so it is super cool for me to be someone that loves grappling. I like to refer to it as grappling, because if you say jiu-jitsu, some people call, are you talking about like Gracie jiu-jitsu, or are you talking about or sport or whatever? I don't know, whatever, because it's all the same. It's all different flavors of the same thing that we love it all. It's super, super cool to be part of the furniture for people that are growing up now in jiu-jitsu. It doesn't matter if I packed up now tomorrow and say one of my kids is talking to someone in 20 years time. If I died right now, if I died tomorrow, if I do,
please don't.
If I died tomorrow and it all goes Pete Tong, in 20 years time, one of my daughters might be speaking to someone who does jiu-jitsu, and she, and they say, oh, you're Miss Bassett's Grappler set, because now everybody knows who we are, and that's such a crazy thing for me, because I'm from beautiful Cornwall in the arse end of nowhere. We do a bit. I go to class. I do a bit of jiu-jitsu. I've done a bit of MMA. No one knows who I am as a fighter or a jiu-jitsu guy, but the brand is there, and we're part of the furniture now. So, and we, the style of people always comment on our social media and stuff, and the way we post, and the way our branding is. I was inspired by the counterculture of surf and skate brands, you had all these skate brands in like the, I don't know, 60s, 70s or whatever it was, 80s, 90s, that, skate brands got big. And then all of a sudden they had these pro skaters. And then the pro skaters were like, why are we slaving away for this company? And then they all started their own skate companies, didn't they? And they're, with the Gonzo sort of videos and stuff. And that's how I think we do stuff in that style. That's what I was inspired by, and it's just easy to do,
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's great inspiration, and for people to think that they can start their own brands, and just from an idea, solving their own problems, which is great.
100, and I like the I forget what the is it called Ikigai? Like when you get 3 Venn diagrams, the overlap. What the world needs, what your passion is, and what makes money, and where they overlap was like, get in there, you know. So it's, you know, and if it doesn't make money, if you still love it that much, like blokes especially will have like these weird little hobbies. And I always think when you're like 15, 16, everybody's trying to be the same person, aren't they? They're trying to be that popular kid in school. Because, you know, you watch the film and it's all, you know, the same kind of film, same kind of series. And you get older and you're like, it's cool to be uncool. So, you know, like we'll all do it as well. Like I've just started doing Grappler soap bum bags, talking of uncool, right? Because
Fab.
What's cooler than being completely uncool and giving zero about it? Like, you know, that's the coolest you can.
I love it. Do you know what? I've still got my Nike bum bag from 30 years ago.
There you go, mate.
So,
like,
retro, vintage now. It's vintage.
Vintage, mate. Yeah, like myself. Yeah.
This is the Jiu Jitsu Lou podcast with me, Lou Temlett, coming to you from the UK. And today I'm talking with Dan Bassett from Grappler Soap. When you want to stay clean, fight dirty with Grappler Soap. Yay! So, yeah, I think what you're doing is fantastic. We've got a school social that I've organised upcoming. So I'm going to buy a crate of soap from you and give all of my fantastic fighting jiu-jitsu partners a bar of soap. So if they listen to this, they can find out that they...
If they listen, if not...
They all do.
Put the soap in a sock.
Okay, and if you do listen, then give me a nudge if I haven't given you a bar of soap. If you're at my jiu-jitsu school, I think what you're doing is fantastic, and it has a kind of an end mission. You started out solving your own problem, and actually, it's not just you that had that issue. You know, lots of people around the world, and I've seen that you're shipping out to America. I've seen some different bits and pieces on your socials, and you're ready to conquer the world. It seems
we're almost ready, mate. We're ready. We can ship worldwide and stuff. It's not a problem. The track ship is just coming now. We're also now putting in little bits of infrastructure just to expedite that process, make it less painful for my dear wife that does all the shipping, because that's far too serious work for me to do. Like, I'm the Good Ideas Club and the branding, and I don't get me wrong, I make all the soap. Today I've made, I don't know, 500 bars of soap or something like that. You know,
fantastic.
But yeah, she does all that. So that's the next thing for us, because there's no reason why we are constrained to this small and mighty island, as fine as it is, you know.
Absolutely.
Go out and be everywhere, you know, apart from maybe Australia that just won't let my soap in.
Will it not?
No, I don't know why. I need to fly over there with it like sewn into my trousers like The Great Escape. No, I don't know what it is. Aussies, in it.
We'll get there eventually.
Yeah, we will, mate. 100% we will. Yeah. And the end mission, as you described it, is the Grappler Soap Lambo. You know, and then probably losing my driving license and learning some humility and retiring in old age. Yeah. So.
Love that. Yeah, I get the fast cars thing. I think if I probably still had a fast car, I used to work for a car company, so
did you?
Driving very sensibly, but you know, we all have passions and want to, you know, do great at all the great things.
Yeah.
So Dan, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. Thank you so much.
Mate. Yeah, likewise.
Everyone at my jiu-jitsu school, look forward to a bar of soap. Certainly, if you're in my GB1 and GB2 class, at least.
I'll send up some goodies with that as well. Like some, you've seen like the Sizewell bags. They're like the little bag. Honestly, they make such a difference. Like, you know, as if you could make that soap any better. But it hangs up, saves mess, exfoliates, lavers up like a crazy. Yeah, really
fantastic. Good. We won't even mention soap on a rope because that will absolutely age us.
What else have I got? Do you do gi or no gi? You do gi as well, don't you?
Yeah, I do gi and a bit of no gi. I'm just just testing the waters with the no gi thing.
I'll send you some of this. I'm just waiting for the certification on it. Where are we? Over here. This is. Are you vegan? Are you vegan?
No, I'm not. Oh.
Yeah, good on you. This is tallow, jojoba, witch hazel, tea tree, eucalyptus, peppermint balm, which you can use everywhere because it won't block your pores. It will clear up spots. Nice. It will get rid of nasty stuff, along with the soap. I'm not sending you my pet bear, Wooly.
You can keep that.
Pet bear. You do gi, so I'll send you a gi patch.
Very exciting. Very exciting.
I've never been seen before, Lou. The new gi patches.
Ooh. Do you know what? I'm going to get some Jiu Jitsu Lou podcast patches as well. So we'll do an exchange.
Yeah.
Love it. Dan, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, mate. It's a pleasure.
That's the end. Thank you. Look after yourself, and I'll be in touch. Thank you for your time.
Hey, thank you, mate.
Bye.
Thanks for your presence.
I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did recording it. I look forward to having you listening in again for the next episode. And in the meantime, I'd love you to rate, review, and download this episode. Thanks again. Bye.